Alright, I know, it's that time of the season again when we discuss the next season's best season starter. Hi guys, this is Master Necromancer Zeiss here with another video about Diablo 4. This time we're going to discuss the best season starter, and as you know, I only play hardcore, mostly Necromancers. I have Platinum Trophy of this game. I played over 1200 hours on PlayStation, as you can see here. Let me just hide myself. So, right, there it is. And I also played for like 2 weeks, a week or two on Xbox. That makes like over 1500 hours, I guess, or something. So pretty much I think I know what I'm talking about. Let's see what I have here. This is one of my season 2 characters. It's a blood necromancer, which is really good season starter, fast XP grinder, fast farmer, and also a really good boss killer. Let me show you how I did this. So, first things first, I'm gonna discuss the end game build, but while doing so, I will also discuss some of the leveling parts, okay? So, let's first discuss the skills, okay? Here we go. Right. As a basic skill, I'm using Hammerage with Initiate's Hammerage. This is really cool for fortifying and restoring resource. Hammerage is the best skill to restore resource really quick, and in my opinion, it is very underrated skill, because it might seem it does low damage, but it actually scales really well with critical strike and overpower. It's very useful, for example, when you gather enemies with corpse tendrils and you wanna do massive splash damage. I've seen this skill dealing hundreds of thousands and even millions of damage to multiple enemies at once. So, very useful skill. And it also heals because of the blood orbs, and it's very useful to increase our damage. It's also very useful when using blood lance to fire more lances. So we have here what's this? Living energy in order to get them perfectly balanced. This is what you should get last, in my opinion. Here I have Blood Surge with Enhanced Blood Surge and Paranormal Blood Surge. But while leveling, and while we don't have many sources of Fortify, and we don't want to count on Hammerage so much, I recommend using Supernatural Blood Surge. And then, when we manage to get here the Drain Vitality and also Ratma's Vigor, probably, this is the last thing here, then we can possibly switch to Paranormal Blood Surge to focus more on damage, okay? Hued Flesh, very important, so we can explode corpses and get also more corpses. It is very useful, especially when you have the aspect of the Embalmer, to get more orbs, right? It could work really well while playing Lance and with Blighted Corpse Explosion, because its damage over time, it hits more than it could be used when Corpse Explosion damage is no longer relevant, right? To get more corpses, more blood orbs, more blood lances. Really cool. But let's focus on the speed farming aspects right now. Not using Blood Mist, no matter it's hardcore, I think it's a useless skill. Unless you're like a complete noob or something, or unless you're playing a shadow build, which we are now not. Grim Harvest, really important here to restore our resources, because when Iron Maiden is restoring resource, it only applies to enemies which are not cursed before, okay? This fueled by that to increase the damage, and this is one of the most important things here, Death's Embrace. Of course, Iron Maiden to heal and restore resource. Amplified damage, you get this after you get Death's Embrace, and all those things are important, especially Coalesce Blood and Tides of Blood. Maybe Coalesce Blood is a bit more important. When lancing, Transfusion is really important. Drain Vitality, possibly just 1 point, and here on Gruesome Ending, just 1 point. Of course, Corpse Tendrils and Enhanced Corpse Tendrils and Blighted Corpse Tendrils. While leveling, and if you don't have the glyph to fortify with Blood Orbs, I forgot its name right now, I'm sorry. You can also use these Plague Corpse Tendrils, especially if you have some kind of item which provides vulnerable damage while you are still not optimal in your items, okay? And here I have a Blood Wave for crowd control and also to generate Blood Orbs. Really cool, especially when lancing. Of course, I have here the Inspiring Leader, right? And Standalone and Memento Mori. Standalone is really cool because we are not using minions, right? And as we already know, even the Bomb Prison counts as 6 minions, which can drastically reduce our damage reduction because of Standalone. And of course, Ratma's Vigor for overpowering often, okay? Now, Paragon. Paragon is really simple, it can work with slight modifications, but when switching to the bosser version of the build, it pretty much stays the same. Right, I'm focusing mostly on other stats, not intelligence, in order to get the bonuses from the glyphs. Here I have Amplify, but feel free to use, for example, Sacrificial. Okay, it's quite obvious where we're going here. It is the Blood Begets Blood, okay? And here I am using, of course, Dominate for the Overpower. Then I'm moving next to Scent of Death, and I have here Corporeal. I always use on this board this glyph here in order to drastically increase my armor. These glyphs here are not leveled to level 21, they are level 15, hence the low stats. But of course, we will have to level them to 21. And here I have additional armor and critical strike and some resistances. And moving on then to this board, which is Bloodbath. I'm getting it here because initially I don't really need that much damage and that much damage overall with this build. I'm getting this on the 3rd place because more important for me is defenses and this life here and the resistances and the armor. It's kind of a mixed board. It has very good offense and defense, while this one is mostly focused on offense. Here I have Exhumation. You can use it on like the first board here and then move it here, okay? It's really important to keep ourselves fortified to reduce the incoming damage because we are mostly fighting close enemies while leveling and speed farming. And right, so moving on here, I got all these important notes, as you see, because I'm not focusing that much on intelligence on the boards. I managed to get the additional bonuses here. Right. Then, moving on down here, I have the Flesh Eater board with the Essence glyph. Right? Essence, it's really cool for damage. And here I have Poison resistance. Right, unfortunately my items don't provide enough willpower here to get the additional poison resistance, but it would be good to have it, alright? So, I have poison and shadow resistance from the Paragon board. let's move to the gear. I'm gonna first discuss here the amulet and the rings, okay? Really important for the amulet, I think, is movement speed, essence cost reduction, total armor, but damage reduction also works, though it's better to get total armor. And the other thing is ranks of Tides of Blood or Coalesce Blood. That's like the best in slot, I guess. Maybe later on, instead of movement speed, we can get total armor and damage reduction. But movement speed, I think it's gonna be really important for the gauntlet. Not so much damage and damage reduction, but we'll see. Here I have poison and shadow resistance. Look at this. Those are the resistances I am also getting from the Paragon, so I maxed them out without using such gems in the jewelry. Okay? Here it is the Ring of Sacrilegious Soul. Probably no Necromancer could work without this ring. And here I have the Mother's Embrace, but you can use some kind of ring which provides life, lucky hit or critical strike chance, and some kind of damage that you're using, like overpower or critical strike damage, things like that. Okay. On the amulet I have the Embaumer aspect, because it will provide higher chance to get blood orbs, and it's important for both Blood Surge and Blood Lance. Okay, here we go to the helmet. So the important thing here is total armor, maximum life, and then anything goes. Like say you need some kind of resistance or more essence or ranks to the skill Iron Maiden. And here I have the aspect of disobedience. Okay, Shaco also works here, but I wouldn't count on Uber Uniques for any build at all, okay? The important thing here is life again and total armor. And disobedience, because I'm using here Soulbrand. It works really well with temerity, so I can have constant barrier up, because my skills are also healing me. I always have barrier up, and this way I'm not losing the movement speed from the aspect of Slaughter. You can imagine, see how fast this guy really is. It's crazy fast. Okay, of course using only rubies, right, to increase life and have better overpower. If we don't have the Soulbrand and temerity, let me see if I have something which could work there. Here on this character, maybe some of these. This is a really good example here. Yeah, this. We should aim at total armor, life, damage reduction, and damage reduction from close on both the pants and the chest piece. Okay, and in this case, we can use aspect of the protector and also this aspect of disobedience. Then in this case, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We can move to then the Embaumer here on the helmet and get some offensive aspect on the amulet, but it will probably not be needed, because these guys pretty much press the core skill button and the screen dies. Okay, let's move on to the gloves. This is really important aspect here. It's a drop only aspect, but it is the must-have for any blood build. And we have here critical strike chance, lucky hit chance. Also we have chance to restore resource, and of course points to the core skill. But because we are constantly healing, this is going to be really important to have this aspect here. Or we can move it to the amulet if we have the Embaumer on the helmet. Okay. Boots, movement speed, one kind of resistance, dodge chance, and essence cost reduction. The other good thing here is to have, instead of the resistance, maybe dodge chance against distant enemies, right? And here I have the aspect of slaughter for additional movement speed. Let's move to the offensive part, the least important part, because damage is really easy to scale in this game, while defenses not so much. So, I have here a wand with all stats, critical strike damage, overpower damage, and core skill damage. And aspect for my core skill, right? Blood Bathe, right? Blood Surge Nova echoes again, after a short delay, dealing more damage, yada yada yada. Okay, the important thing here is all stats and also the core skill damage. Then pretty much anything goes as long as it's increasing your type of damage you're dealing. Either critical strike damage or overpowered damage. It can also be intelligence to also increase your damage a bit and also your resistances, because that's what intelligence does. And I guess that's it for the weapon. It can also be a wand, but I got a blade here, a dagger. It's better to use wand when switching to blood lance, right? Because we will have more corpses, more blood orbs, more blood lances in the air, aiming at the enemies. I use here focus, but probably for high tier nightmare dungeons and this new dungeon type devotes, I would probably use a shield. I can show what kind of shield I'm talking about on another character. But the important thing here is all stats, the intelligence, essence cost reduction, really important, and maybe lucky hit to restore resource or critical strike chance or anything else, right? The offensive aspect here is corpse grasping veins, which aids corpse tendrils and drastically increases our critical strike chance and damage. We can use this on the amulet if we move the embaumer here on the helmet, if we are not using Sobrat and Temerity, as I discussed earlier. About the seasonal powers, I took some notes when reviewing in detail all these, this entire article, this entire page, and what I think it would be great is going to be Tempest, and also Protect. Where is it? Protect? Where did it go? Okay, there it is. Protect materializes a protective barrier on the player for a portion of their maximum life. Really cool. And especially if we don't have Temerity with Soulbrand, it's gonna be necessary. Tempest, no matter its lightning damage, I think it's going to be amazing to aid our speed farming and speed leveling. Maybe something else, but we'll see. Pretty much the others were not really cool. I mean, that's what I thought. You can check the video I did about reviewing this article and you will find out more. Okay, so about the tuning stones for the abilities, I think a good one would be Devastation. Where did it go? Okay, Auto Defense. Maybe this also against distant enemies. But Protect. Okay, I talked about this, and maybe Reconstruct. Channels reconstruction on being healing the player for a portion of their maximum life over time. This would be really cool if we already have Temerity. And I'm talking Temerity only for the open world, like speed leveling, speed farming, things like that. Definitely not in Nightmare Dungeons or votes above tier 55, where enemies are over level 100, okay? Let's see the tuning stones. For example, I picked Devastation. Supported skill gains critical strike damage bonus. Amazing, exactly what we need. Swift. Supported skill gains attack speed bonus. Okay. And there's also the first one. The supported skill effect size is increased. I think this could work really well with Tempest. which is going to aid our speed farming and speed leveling. Then let's move to Safeguard. When used, the supported skill grants damage reduction to you. Really important, especially as we know I only play hardcore, so that is probably a must-have. Duration. Okay, duration increased. Supported skill have the duration increased, probably really cool for Tempest. 45. Also really cool, when the construct uses a supported skill, you gain 45. Skills with slower attack speeds or skills with cooldowns will increase the amount of 45 gain. Amazing. Also, what could be really useful is slowing support. Damage from the supported skill slows enemy movement speed for a limited duration. Why this is important? We don't have much crowd control with this build. It's only Blood Wave and Corpse Tendrils, and we don't use Decrepify, we use Iron Maiden. So this could really help with more enemies. Okay? Same goes here for Mockery support. Damage done by the supporting skill taunts enemies hit for a limited duration of time. This can only occur once every so often per enemy. Does not work on bosses, but who cares, right? What this can help us with is yet another way to gather enemies, like with Corpse Tendrils, and so we can deal with more enemies at once, which is kind of the speciality of this build. Okay. You see what I'm doing? I'm typing unstoppable. There is no way to get unstoppable from season powers. This could be really deadly, especially on hardcore. But what I'm counting on is that, wait, where did it go now? There are two other stones, tuning stones, which are Genesis and Evernight. I have no idea what these do, but I hope they do unstoppable. Well, in this case, if you are too afraid from CC or want to have a way to escape, I would suggest to also use Blood Mist instead of Blood Wave. But your character would be so tanky, and CC is not a problem anymore. It was only when the game was initially released, and we were forced to use Topaz on all our armor slots, armor gear, to reduce the damage taken while being CC'd. Book of the Dead. Okay. I sacrificed skirmishers here to increase critical strike chance. Here I sacrificed bone mages to get more overpower, right? And golems, of course, critical strike damage with iron golem. But the important thing is, initially while leveling, you can play with skeletons, maybe till level 25 or 30, or till whenever you get tanky enough. That means usually until you get total armor, damage reduction, and damage reduction from close enemies on your pants and on your chest. Or at least if you have like the aspect of disobedience, and when damage taken is not an issue anymore. That's probably about level 30 or something. But we know RNG could be really nasty bitch in this game, and no matter how good you are, RNG can pretty much destroy your dreams in this game. And the good stuff is not hard to get. It's nearly impossible to get, unless you do like maybe 10 hours of runs every day. I don't know. Sometimes it happens. So I wouldn't count on gear as much, but this is what I think would be best for fast leveling, fast farming, of course, boss materials, and to get Durio just a few times before moving on to the hardest stuff. Right. So let's talk about the boss version of this build. We're going to use Gore Kills on a pretty similar weapon, but it's a 1 for more lucky hit chance in order to get more corpses, more blood orbs, and respectfully, more blood lances in the air shooting at the enemies. Of course, again, it's with Ruby to increase the overpowered damage. Here we have pretty much the same gloves, but instead of lucky hit chance, because we get it from the weapon, we can use additional overpowered damage here. Everything is the same here, except also the core skill, it's blood lance. Alright, even the legendary power is the same. And then we can use some similar ring, which is with poison resistance. We're talking life here, and some other useful stuff like critical strike chance or damage or lucky hit chance, or some kind of damage you are dealing, which in this case is physical, critical strike or overpower. And as you can see here, I have also the maximum essence, which could really help with blood lance, and I also have Ratma's chosen power here. Why Ratma's chosen? Because blood lance will consume a lot of essence, and I will be using blood lance here with wait, hold on, blood lance with this supernatural blood lance, right? And it will be guaranteed to overpower and to spawn blood orb, which means more blood lances. But with Ratma's vigor, hemorrhage can restore our resource insanely fast, especially having in mind we are not with a two-hander here, we are with a wand and with a focus, which makes our attacks extremely fast, especially with Ratma's vigor. For example, in season 2 currently, we have here the Ravenous, but we won't have such a power in season 3, so Ratma's vigor, Ratma's chosen here, Ratma's chosen I think is a must have, but you can also use some aspect for damage, why not, like Edge Master for example. Okay, I guess that pretty much covers it. If you want to see this build in action, you can come to one of my live streams, or you can also check the video I made about what makes blood builds so great. I'm going to repeat, they are amazing season starters, fast XP grinders, and fast also speed farmers, and also really good boss killers with just slight modifications, because the Book of the Dead remains the same, the Paragon board remains the same, you just swap 2 or 3 items and respec a skill, and that's it. I guess that covers my blood video. Just let me show you on another character what kind of shield I'm talking about. I don't know if I have such a shield here, but let me check. Maybe something. Okay, live damage reduction, from close. When fortified is too conditional, maybe it would be good to have all stats there. Okay, all stats, damage reduction, close and distant. This is also a good shield. Yeah, this is also a really good shield. I think also the best skill here, the best legendary power to use is the aspect of might, which provides additional damage reduction, and we're going to use the basic skill a lot for splash damage and also to restore our resource, so it's a really useful thing. Looks like I have similar shields, and I don't need to switch the character, but if someone tells you that Shadow or Bone is good for leveling, they have no idea what they're talking about. Prove me wrong, challenge the argument, not the person, and I guess that's all guys, and I'll see you on my next live stream or video. Take care!